Why is self-love so important? Watch this video and find out. When we don't love ourselves, we end up in separation. This is one of the main reasons why love is necessary. And I don't mean love as in person to person. I don't mean love as in a romantic sense. I mean love as a frequency that the entire universe is made of. It's a type of connective tissue in a way that makes everything work together as a unit. So everything is made of this love energy, right? But when we don't allow ourselves to be lovable, then we end up rejecting the very fabric of the universe, which then leads to us feeling like we're not good enough, we're defective, or somehow we're hungry for love that we will never get, or we're lacking in some abilities, or we somehow can't find abundance. All of the distortions that we end up with in our lives are connected to separation. And because down here in the lower 3D, we are in a separation consciousness, right? We're sort of forgot that we are part of the universe. One of the pathways back in order to remember that we actually are connected is through experience of love resonance within our own systems. That means we must allow ourselves to be lovable. It sounds kind of strange because, well, you're either lovable or you're not. No, it's a perceptory, sort of a skewed view if we choose to see ourselves as not lovable. Every single atom in the universe is lovable by the fact of being a compressed fractal of the universal hologram. So there is nothing that is not the universe. Everything is the universe. Everything is made of stuff that the universe is made of, which is love energy. So by that, we can extrapolate that every single atom is lovable, and we are made of atoms. We're also lovable. So anytime we end up with this distortion that says, not so much. I'm lovable if I do this, or that, or if I become this way, or if I achieve this, or if somebody else loves me, and then I can maybe accept that I'm lovable. All those things are distortions based on separation. And without claiming the fact that you are lovable and then choosing to allow that energy to come in, we are doomed to remain in the separation perception. This is what I see quite often, is that conceptual component has arrived at the next level in a person. He or she can comprehend that they are part of everything, that there must be some sort of a godlike piece in them called soul and all that. But the experience of it is not felt. There is no experience. It's more like a separated component that a mental body has arrived in, while emotional is not matching it. And the reason for that is because this love ability, the self-loving component, is missing. So that's why self-love allowance is so important. And we are the only ones who can let ourselves love ourselves or not. There's no permission coming from the outside. God's source has already given us that permission by the fact of us being a component of it. So there is no more permission coming. That's it. We just have to actually claim that we are lovable. And once we do, we will notice how many programs we have in our systems that claim that we are not lovable, that somehow are acting like proof that, see, I didn't do this, so that's why I'm not lovable. Or this happened and then I didn't get that result, so that proves I'm not lovable, and so on. All those things are different programs that we have inherited either from other lifetimes, because karmically they are part of who we are and the lesson was not learned, so that it dragged with us lifetime to lifetime to lifetime until we finally arrive at understanding that that is not true. Or they could have been inherited from genetics, from the body that we incarnated into, which means our family believed so. and then we just sort of took on their conditional lovability. So then if we meet those conditions, supposedly we are lovable. If we don't meet those conditions, then supposedly there is no love coming in. And this is something that we must resolve within ourselves. A lot of patterns come from the social programming. Living inside this separation consciousness on the planet Earth, inside the lower 3D, we end up with all sorts of morphogenic fields that are constantly limiting our ability for self-love. This is one of the reasons that human race is controlled. And we don't have to be controlled. We have all of the power of God's source within us. Nobody is bigger than us. We are not victims. But when we don't love ourselves, then love is conditional and nobody can live without love, which means there's always somebody that we end up needing to please or do something for or somehow follow instructions of in order to receive that love. And that somebody doesn't even have to be an external anything, may that be a morphogenic field or a person or a group of people or a religion. It could be something internal. And quite often it's actually a struggle between our own ego and our own lower self. Because the ego wants to sort of claim spirituality, so it kind of half listens to the higher self there, and higher self says, oh, this is what you need to be doing. Ego says, all right, I'll do that, and then I somehow will be enough. I will be okay. Everything will be fine. And then the lower self, of course, with all its not enoughness, fears and pains and everything, picks that up and uses it as a form of self-punish ourselves every time we don't match whatever it is that we believe we're supposed to match. So please make sure that next time you run into I'm not lovable internal programming, you stop yourself, you take a breath and you ask yourself, where did I get this from? I know I am part of everything, which means I am lovable by definition of being part of everything. So then you take a deep breath, you connect to the universal energy, and you let go. This is one of the important pieces that a lot of religions talk about, erasing self. It's not actually erasing self. That's a mistranslation. It's allowing the ego personality step aside so that the higher component, the soul self, can come in. There's still a self there. It's just that self is of the higher, more harmonious nature that lives outside of separation, not inside it, which is where personality lives. So hopefully this makes sense to you, and please make sure that you allow love energy to be, living, to take residence inside your systems.